Welcome into week 5 of the college football catch-up podcast for the Stateline Sports Reporter podcast. Me and Cole are talking about crazy how fast time flies. Already week 5.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just week 0, and you had those couple of games, but not really the season. I don't know. This always happens. Best time of the
Flies
year,
by.
and then it just goes. We wait for so long through the spring and the summer, the dog days of summer, and then boom, football flies.
And then it's gone in an instant.
It's gone.
But as far as games we have, it is, although it seems like it's flying by for us, it's an early bye week for the Vols. So no Tennessee this week. Still got plenty of coverage from them throughout the week, but nothing to get excited about this weekend. However, we do have an early game this week. We've got Virginia Tech taking on Miami Friday Night Football. That's a tough task right there.
Yeah, and this would have been regardless of how Tech performed through the first 4 weeks of the season. And with 2 early losses, I don't think they or anyone else, especially us, kind of expected them to be 2-2 going into this game. Very much of disappointment, I would say, as kind of an understatement. So that kind of makes the weight of this game even heavier for them, because if you don't go in and shock Miami on the road, you're 2-3.
Yeah.
And 0-1 in ACC play.
Yeah, this is not the start of the season that they were looking for. And it's, once again, every single week. It's like, a little, what is it? The little dolls that, you wind up. And it's like, Virginia Tech bad in the first half. Yep. Virginia Tech bad in the first half every
Nothing
single
changed.
week.
Yeah, we talked about that last time we did this.
Yeah.
It was that was the key last week against Rutgers.
Failed again.
Yeah.
They came back in the end, but once again fell short. It was like Vanderbilt 2.0.
Yeah.
It's like I saw something on Twitter where it was like, oh, Virginia Tech's only lost to an SEC and a Big Ten team. It's like, don't say it's Vandy and Rutgers. And that's exactly who it was.
The two ones you don't want. Yeah, those are tough. It's tough. I think that I don't know what else you can do if you're Brent Pry and this coaching staff to get these guys up for this game. I don't think you have to. You're playing at Miami. It's a big deal, but I don't even know how you approach this, because Miami's been
so dominant,
smoking people.
This is their first time, I believe. I saw something on Twitter that said first time that they've scored 40 points in their first 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And it's not like they've played all rollover teams. They played Florida.
Right.
They had USF on the road last week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Cam Ward is playing lights out. He's, in the talks, Heisman contender right there. Meanwhile, his cousin, we got a little family rivalry going on this weekend. Kyron Drones has just underperformed. I saw, once again, I'm a little on my phone all the time. I saw something tracking back to preseason that had Kyron Drones ahead of a number of ACC quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He's got to be sitting towards the bottom. He just has not. It's like night and day from what we saw last year to this year, or first half Kyron Drones from second half Kyron Drones. It's ugly right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's his performance has been what anyone expected in the Hokie Nation. He really started to play very well towards the end of last year, and it was like, can that carry over in the 2024? And it has not.
We have our quarterback. Last year was a quarterback battle between Wells and Drones, and it was like, this is Drones' job. He's got the whole, off season to prepare. He is the starter, and it's just not. Maybe he needs some more competition up in there to.
Maybe he needs this to give him a little spark, a little family battle here. Maybe play on Cam Ward's level, then you're talking a different kind of Hokies team.
Precisely, yeah. Talking about this matchup in particular, these two haven't met since 2022, but the 41st matchup overall, they've kind of been even since Miami and Virginia Tech have both been in the ACC. It's a 10-9 split in those games. But this is also super intriguing when you look at ACC openers, which is both teams' ACC opener. Virginia Tech 15-5 in ACC openers with 4 straight wins. Miami 10-10 with 3 straight losses. So I know. I know those are different teams clearly than what we've got going on right now, but
and that's how I'm just looking at this like, just imagine if Tech had not slipped up in the first few weeks, if they were set 4-0, even 3-1 going into this game. It kind of remind you back, like these teams had some pretty big meetings back in, the teams of the late 90s, early 2000s when it was the U and it was,
Sexburg.
Michael Vick at Virginia Tech, those kind of years. Unfortunately, we're not there again.
No.
And unless anything crazy happens, I think the Hurricanes have this wrapped up.
Yeah, this one's going to be tough. I think you look at the line battle, and you've got APR for the Hokies. He's leading the nation in sacks right now with 6, but Miami leads the country in sacks for their overall defense, and that Virginia Tech offensive line has certainly proved to be a weak point for them.
Yep.
Bashal Tutin's managed to find those holes and break free and get loose in the run game, but I mean, they essentially sacked their own quarterback for a little meme. It's literally like been memed. The ball just flying in the air for Kyron Drens' safety last week. It's probably not something that Virginia Tech fans want to relive there.
No. It's kind of like the Hokies butt fumble. It's kind of what they can look forward to for years from now.
Oh no.
Not good.
Yeah, but we're gonna hit the odds a little bit later, but I'll leave you with this. Hokies 0-12 against top 7 opponents since West Virginia back in 2004.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, it's been quite some time.
Well, like I said, we'll circle back to picking the game, but we'll leave you with that. All right, next, moving on, we've got ETSU at the Citadel. SoCon play has arrived.
Yes, it's here. I mean, it's what Trey Lamb's been talking about since he took over this job, getting his shot to coach in the SoCon for the first time, and how we talked about how important that is and how playing what they do through the first 4 weeks of the season leading up to that. And I think just from our perspective, I feel like they've overachieved on how they played going in the SoCon play. Almost taking down number 2, North Dakota State, and then the whooping they put on Elon, which is a tough team on the road last weekend. I think Trey Lamb said it Monday. He said, we haven't done anything yet. We can't pound our chest because we still have gone 3-8 the last 2 years. But we are exactly where we expected to be going into this. So they're on par. They're on track. I think this is big for them. Make a statement in the first game against a team that won no games last year.
Yeah. I think that, if we're going back to Monday with Trey Lamb, he did say they're coming off their most complete game of the year. And obviously that's going to be the key in college football. You have to play complementary. You can't just, if you're not firing on all cylinders, you're just not going to find that success. And you mentioned the Citadel did not win a game last year. So obviously ETSU picked up that win at home. This is now on the road. But they have ETSU early this season has a chance to match their win total from the past 2 years, back-to-back 3-8 seasons. But the Citadel isn't exactly the same team either. They're also coming into this one 2-2.
Yeah, they're much improved. Coach Lamb spent quite a bit of time on Monday in the weekly presser talking about that and how they're much better, especially on the offensive side. He likes their quarterback. So it's not going to be a walkover game, at least in their eyes, and they can't go in thinking that, or that's when disaster strikes. So, anytime you're on the road, too, it just heightens that. So, expect a little bit out of the Citadel, but I think the Bucks, just the way they've been playing, they should have the upper hand.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think that this is ETSU's game to lose still.
Yeah.
Even though the Citadel is getting there with how ETSU has been playing, it would be quite the disappointment if there was a loss. It would be quite shocking.
Yeah, it's not the way you want to start off.
No.
SoCon play, folks.
You need to go 1-0. Conference play is here. You got to be playing your best football. All right. And, on that note, we're talking about a big old matchup. We're going to go outside. Obviously, we don't have that Tennessee game, but we're touching on the SEC. Biggest game of the week, number 2, Georgia at number 4, Alabama. What a game.
Man, it doesn't get much better than this, especially if you're an SEC kind of person. I mean, these two went back and forth trading national titles for the last several years.
Sprinkling
Beat up
Clemson.
on each
Clemson
other.
did a little bit in there. Let's not
I
forget
know.
the orange and purple.
I will
Come on
never
now.
forget Clemson. I will never forget Clemson, of course, because they beat up on Syracuse a lot. So I don't know, Lauren. Georgia hasn't impressed me as a number 1, number 2 caliber team this year.
I
And
would
it's
agree.
crazy to say because I thought they were going to be, especially with the beating over Clemson in week 1, it was like, okay, Georgia, after getting snubbed out of the college football playoff last year, was like, they're back. They're probably the best team in the nation again, at least to start things off. But, I mean, that 13-12 game against Kentucky, that was ugly.
Oh, it was. I had them. They ruined my parlay. I had them picked to cover the spread.
Oh, yeah, we both said that.
That was atrocious.
Number 1 team at the time ruined it. Now they're number 2. They got bounced by Texas. Doesn't really matter. At this point, who cares about the rankings? It's Georgia and Alabama. But
precisely,
I think Alabama's probably, if we look at through their first 4 games, 3-4 games, I think Alabama has probably slightly played a little bit better than Georgia, which causes you to question if the Tide can pull it off. But, I mean, again, you're looking at a new head coach. I don't know if that matters too much in this, but it might, with Kirby Smart on the other sideline.
You do have both of these quarterbacks do know each other, though. They've seen each other last year. They both won one, right?
Yep.
They split them, and Georgia definitely got the bum end of that stick because if you win the SEC championship, they probably made the playoffs over Alabama last year.
Yep.
But the weird thing when I was Googling this matchup, because I think of Georgia as being so dominant in the past few seasons, but in actuality, Georgia's actually only won one of the last 9 matchups dating back to 2008 between these two teams. That was crazy to me.
And that's what's even crazier about and why this matchup I think is so big is because we did have that kind of perception that Georgia had overcome Alabama with their 2 national championships, but head to head they really haven't.
Yeah, they kind of squeaked through that.
It's what ruined their chances last year. So, and I mean, at the end of the day, in this early season matchup with the college football playoff being expanded to 12 teams, I don't think this will have a massive impact on that. Either way, I think both these teams are going to be in that in December.
Unless there's some massive,
Unless one of them somehow loses 2 games and they were one of the first ones out. Yeah. Georgia was on the ropes against the Wildcats. But yeah, I think that's what makes this so important and big early in the year because of that misperception that Georgia has kind of overtaken Alabama. So this is their chance they can beat them down in Tuscaloosa. We could be looking at that.
This is crazy. I will say, saw something last time Bama was the underdog at home, 2007. I was in elementary school. Yeah. I was in elementary school the last time Bama at home was an underdog.
That's wild.
That's been a while.
That's a while. What grade?
Oh, geez. I don't even know.
07,
First or second?
Probably second because I was
born in 01.
Fourth.
So I was 6. It's like first grade.
It's like first grade. We're going way back, folks.
But yeah, that's the last time that Bama was the underdog at home.
Okay.
And they're the underdog in this matchup.
I mean, that shows the 2-decade-long dominance in the SEC. So here you go, Bulldogs.
Here we go. All right. We touched on the underdog there. We're going to move into our Lauren's Locks segment. Once again, take everything with a grain of salt. Very much so.
We missed bad last week on USC smoking Michigan.
We have certainly had our ups and downs, but that's what it's all about. Yeah. You can't win them all. That's no fun.
Then everyone would make money betting.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna jump back up to the top. Virginia Tech at Miami. Miami opened 6.5-point favorites, jumped up to 19.5-point favorites heading into tomorrow's game.
Well, Here's where we're going to go with this. I think Miami handles this and wins this game easily, but maybe not easily. Here's the thing. I think because we've been so disappointed in Virginia Tech's performance through 4 weeks, they're going to have that week where they play probably their best football of the season. It's still not going to be enough, though. So I see them covering the spread. I'm going to go Hokies plus 19.5, but Miami. I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling.
Here's my take. I'm picking Miami to cover 19.5 point favorites, but I did see Virginia Tech money line is plus 700. So, me and
Sprinkle a little on that.
me and my really bad betting habits, I may be tempted to throw $1 or $2 just to be like, you never know. You never know. Maybe there will be some massive
sprinkle that in with a couple other underdogs and do like a money line parlay round robin type deal where you don't have to hit all of them, but you can make some.
There you go.
I've heard that's a cool thing to do. So
I don't think I've ever tried that one out.
I've tried it like 2 times.
I probably should because I take a lot of bad bets and some of them hit, some of them do, a lot of them don't. All right. ETSU at the Citadel, no odds. I couldn't find any odds on this one, but we touched on this. It should be a tougher game, but I think both of us feel pretty good picking ETSU to win this one.
Yeah, I got ETSU by, I'll say 3 scores.
3 field goals, 3 tutties. Where are we going?
3 tutties.
Oh, all right.
3 tutties. I've liked what I've seen the last couple of weeks.
That's pretty big considering last year was 35-23. So we'll see. We will see. All right. The toughest game. This is so back and forth. Georgia opened 2.5 point favorites. They're now down to 2 point favorites over the Alabama. My mind completely blanked on the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, once that,
I was like,
Would you pause for a second? I go, did she forget? Yeah. I don't know. See, I always love the opportunity to say Roll Tide just because it's fun, but I think Georgia's got this one. I'll take the Dogs -2 on the road.
I personally wish that neither team could win this game. I hate both of these teams passionately. Georgia, it's a little more personal with Georgia. I did get barked at after Georgia beat Clemson in Charlotte 3 years ago, I think. 10-3 to open the season. An ugly win. And I still got barked at walking through the streets of Charlotte. Not a good experience.
That's a new one.
So I'm going to roll with Alabama.
Because I got barked at 3 years ago.
Because I got barked at, and I hold a grudge. But no. Like we said, last time Bama was an underdog was 2007. There's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. And I think that, even new head coach, Bama's been rolling. Georgia's been questionable. They're both coming off bye weeks. They've had a minute to sit back, look at what they've done. Mm-hmm. And I think that Alabama, takes the win here at home. They know how to get it done in Bryant-Denny.
They do. This would be a huge kind of, I don't know.
They might jump to number 1. Whoever wins this could jump to number 1. Because it's a big game.
I can see that. Who's Texas playing this week? I don't know. Don't really care. Sorry, Longhorns. We'll get you later in the year. But this could be what's the word I'm looking for? Not homecoming, but coming out. A big coming out game, kind of showered with everything. If Kalen DeBoer can get his first big time win as the head coach for Alabama.
Yeah.
Is that what I want? Showered with.
We're rocking with it. I'm not sure what you were going for.
I don't know either. but that's it'd be huge if the Tide do pull it off.
So your official pick on the game is?
I'm still going Georgia.
You're still going Georgia.
-2.
All right, we're back. We've got a couple where we're on two sides of the thing. So we'll see who's a little bit better at this betting game that we've got going on.
We'll see.
But that'll wrap it up for week 5 of the podcast. So make sure to tune in. We'll think we'll touch on Virginia Tech, Miami a little bit tomorrow, and then we'll definitely have some coverage of ETSU at the Citadel.
Baseball stuff before she signs off.
Oh, no.
The Yankees need to clinch the division tonight over the Orioles. So
yeah, but we've taken 2 already. We're ready to sweep. Clean sweep.
All right, now we're done.